Alright, just wanted to make a quick video on Smolderon just to kind of show you some tips that I've kind of figured out while progressing, to see if I can help anybody else out with this fight, because it can be a little bit chaotic until you start getting the true pattern down. So I'm just going to kind of look at one pole, show you how I do it. I'm not popping any of my huge cooldowns on this first part just because we're not in a damage amp. We're not popping lust or anything like that. So just kind of doing a standard mini burst, not doing anything too crazy, so not using my death mark. So I don't get a small circle here, so I'm kind of circling around to the tank, popping a defensive, so popping feint in order to take that to help out our healers. That way I'm not, all the way down here with health, and they have a little bit more time to get the healing absorb off of me. So I took that. Now the tornadoes are coming, so I'm still going to make my way back here, because I think kind of being closer to the tornadoes makes it a little bit easier to dodge in some ways. So I'm moving back here. So as you can see, there's lines that come out from the tornadoes when you're close up to them. And this is what that weak aura does that I put in the channel, is that it turns your particle density down to like nothing on this fight so that you can see these lines a lot easier. If your particle density is higher, there's going to be like a tornado animation which covers up these lines and makes it harder to see. So right now this one's moving, this one's coming at me, so this is really the only one I really have to dodge. So I'm just going to kind of make my way left before any of it comes out. So dodging these circles, and now we're waiting to bait pools. So I'm behind the boss to bait the pools back here, so that, O's over here that's marked, so anywhere kind of close to here should be okay for the bait. So O's moving his way back here. So dodge and fire. Now bait's coming out, so all the baits are kind of back here. This is perfectly fine. We're going to move the boss over here. So I didn't have the mini circle, so I know I'm going to have the mini circle now. So I just need to do a loose spread with other melee. So the only circles that should really be close to here are probably melee. All range can kind of, fan out a little bit wider, and then just make sure that they collapse once the baits are coming. But we have a little bit of time. So we're spreading out here. I'm getting behind the boss because I think there's some room. And now I'm going straight top-down view, because then I can see the lines from the tornadoes a lot easier, because I got, multiple people surrounding me, so I'm able to see. So once the lines come out, I'm taking a quick look at the lines. So right now, I think it's really just this one that's coming at me. Yeah, there's a little line right here, so I just need to move up right over here to dodge, and I'm perfectly fine. And now I'm already in the good spot to bait, so all the baits would be back here. Melee's all moving in. I'm getting bait back here, perfectly fine. I'm probably going to pop a movement speed to get around the fire and get back on the boss. Now we're going into an intermission. There's a few different ways to do this. I know Mez was saying that he gets right under the boss so that he only gets knocked back to like here, can pick up his orbs and start DPSing the boss. Range, you should probably be a little bit farther out, because that gives you a lot of time to pick your time of when you start picking up the orbs. That way you can kind of time your damage amp a little bit better. I just kind of usually sit, right here. I get knocked back into the second ring, and then I'm able to kind of assess where to do it. So this is a little bit unfortunate because an orb pops out right here, and I pick it up the first second. Once you pick up an orb, you are in your damage amp. So my 20 seconds has started, which is a little bit unfortunate. I like to time it a little bit to where I can, pop a movement speed, pick them all up, and get right back on the boss. So this isn't great, but now that I picked up the first one, I know I need to pick up the rest and get on the boss as quickly as I can. So I'm kind of running around picking them. I shadow step to the boss to pop my big cooldowns and actually go into it. I think I forgot to pot here. I don't think I potted. But you can start your damage and start going from there. So now I'm just kind of dodging the waves as they come. So this is probably the worst one for melee, is the double inner, because if you go out here, you're not going to be in range of the boss. But I'm in my damage amp. Like, I'm popping my cooldowns. If I move out here, I only have 8 seconds left. That's going to be probably 5 seconds of my big damage amp that I'm not hitting the boss at all. So what I'm going to do, since I have an immunity, is I'm going to pop cloak to where I can stay on the boss and keep hitting him through this mechanic, because again, this is when I have, a lot more damage than I would otherwise. So I want to stay on the boss as much as I can in order to burst enough, which, is always good. We want as much damage as we can here. So again, I'm safe in the middle. Now the middle, I think, is going to light up. Nope. Yep. So back out of the middle. You can still hit the boss even though the middle's there. And now we're going into the next phase. So same thing, just with more rings. If we look at this area right now, there's this little pocket here to where, you know, 1 or 2 range could sit in here if they don't get the tank absorb. So if they get the mini circle, range can go in here, continue to hit the boss or continue to heal, and then their tornadoes are basically the only thing that's going to do there. And then they can stay there until the bait comes, because if they get baited on right here, that's perfectly fine, right? There's going to be a fire puddle in the middle of the rest of the fire puddle. So this would be a good spot for some range to go into. Probably not more than 2, but it's another area. Tanks could also probably tank the boss over here so that it gives more room from this fire to drop stuff. Because now that we're tanking them right here, it's going to be a little bit clustered. If we tank them farther out, that gives a lot more room for people to back into here once they get the tornadoes on them, to sit there and wait for the bait to happen. So we can spread, you know, tornadoes out over here, and then once the tornadoes go off, everybody moves back here except the tanks, just to give us a little bit more room away from the fire, because now you'll kind of see that it's a little bit clumped up, to where if the boss was over here, you know, we could circle him a lot more, to where now we kind of have a wall cutting us off from spreading more over here. So what as I'm going to do, I think, I need to get to the tank absorb because I don't have it. So once again, popping a cooldown, popping a heal to kind of help the healers out. And then I'm getting close to where the bait spot is. So I know that there's going to be tornadoes here, but if I'm close to them, I feel like I can see the lines quick enough and be able to dodge them okay. So as you see, I'm perfectly fine right here. There's no lines coming towards me. I can just sit right here and be perfectly fine. So baiting has happening in 6 seconds. I'm standing here. There are 2 fire puddles, so this is also kind of where it gets tricky. So there are fire puddles where I want to stand to bait. I got 4 seconds left. What I do is I move left, and I know that these are going to despawn before the pools actually come, so I'm waiting, and then I'm going back right. So as you can see, there was another fire puddle that came up after those first 2. So dodging. So now these fire are going to spawn. We're going to go left. There's going to be a 3rd fire that spawns right here that makes people go more left, but I'm remembering that we need a bait, so we need to get back over here, because now these people that are going left, they're going to bait pools back here, which we're on the outside of the ring. It's not the worst thing in the world, but they're a little bit divergent from all these other pools that we already have. It'd probably be best if we could move them all the way over here. Again, I don't really think that this is the end of the world, but just something to kind of think about is you always want to try to get to your bait spot and try to time out when you're moving things. So again, baits kind of happen over here. It is what it is. We could probably work around it since they're all the way in the back. So that's just kind of one pull I wanted to run through to kind of give some tips on how I'm pulling this boss and how I'm learning it.